The man in Tower 6. You ever look up at a building and feel like someone's looking back? It's a dumb thing, right? A trick of the light. Maybe a shadow behind the curtain. But let me tell you about Tower 6. It's one of those brutalist concrete towers from the 70s, all gray slabs and right angles, dumped in the middle of a sleepy little New England town. Half the floors are abandoned. Place always smells like mildew and old metal. But it's cheap, and if you're trying to escape from debt, divorce, or just life in general, Tower 6 has a room for you. That's how I met him. I was just a janitor, worked the night shift, mopped floors, emptied trash, tried not to breathe too deep in the stairwells. But one night I saw him, the man in 6E. Except no one was supposed to be living on the 6th floor. I remember the exact moment. The elevator had groaned its way to the 5th floor, lights flickering like they always do. But the doors didn't open. Not right away. Then, ding, 6th floor. The panel didn't light up. The button had never even been pressed. But the doors slid open anyway, slow and reluctant, as if they were being forced. And there he was, standing at the end of the hall where the lights didn't quite reach. A man, tall, still, like someone had carved him out of shadow and left him there to dry. I called out. He didn't move, just turned, slowly. And then he smiled. That's when the lights went out. I should have quit right then. Walked away, found another tower with ghosts of its own. But I didn't, because some buildings, they keep you. Rising action. At first, I thought it was a squatter. But when I asked the landlord, he just laughed, said nobody's been in Tower 6's top floor in years. Power's cut, no water, place is sealed. So then, who opened the door? I started noticing little things. A chair in the hallway that hadn't been there before. Elevator stopping on 6 with no one inside. My supply closet unlocked. Tools missing. And sometimes, at the end of the hall, a figure just standing there. Perfectly still, facing the wall. I told myself I was imagining things. Until I found the Polaroids. They were tucked inside the janitor's logbook. Black and white, faded at the edges. Each one a photo of me. Sleeping, eating, sitting on the bench outside at lunch, all taken from inside the building, from Tower 6. My hands shook so bad I nearly dropped them. I wanted to believe it was a prank, maybe from Carl, the security guard who chain smoked and watched YouTube all night. But Carl had been out sick for a week, and then came the whispering. It started in the stairwell, just a murmur. At first, I thought it was wind sneaking through the old brickwork, but the whispers followed me. Floor to floor, always behind me, saying things in a language I didn't know, but somehow understood. Words like hollow and exchange and repent. One night I made the mistake of following it. I climbed past the 5th floor, flashlight in hand, heart pounding like a war drum. The hallway stretched longer than it should have, much longer, doors where there had been no doors before. And at the end, apartment 6E, its number scrawled in what looked like rust but smelled like old blood. I reached out, knocked, and the door opened itself. Inside, it was impossible. Walls that pulsed like lungs. Ceiling stretched too high, vanishing into blackness. And in the corner, a mirror. Except it didn't show me. It showed him, the man from the hallway. Only this time, he wasn't smiling. He was pointing right at me, and I swear I felt something crawl into my skin. That night, I brought a flashlight and a crowbar. Told myself I was going to end it, find out who was up there. Rip the mask off the monster if there was one. I forced the door to the 6th floor. The lock didn't break, it let go. Like it had been waiting. Pitch black inside. Smelled like mold and iron and something older. Like earth, maybe, or bone. The light from my flashlight barely cut the dark. The hallway was wrong. Longer again. The floor sloped ever so slightly downward, like I was walking into the throat of something. Then, click. Behind me, the overhead lights sputtered to life. One by one, click, 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 each bulb flickering on with a nervous buzz until the whole hallway glowed in that sick yellow hum. Every door, all 12 of them, opened, slowly, all at once, and from each room, they stepped out. Not people, not anymore. Pale, twisted, faces sagging like wet paper, eyes too wide, his mouths too still. Some crawled, some dragged themselves upright, none of them blinked. My legs locked up. My breath stopped in my throat like a bad memory. And then I saw him, right at the center of them all. The man from 6E, wearing my clothes, holding my flashlight, and in his other hand, a Polaroid camera. He raised it. Click. The flash exploded in my face, blinding, white hot, and when my vision came back, I was in the photo, pinned to the wall in 6E, only I couldn't move, couldn't scream. I was inside the frame, watching, while he, the other me, turned around and walked back down the hallway, crowbar in hand, janitor's keys on his belt, whistling the same tune I used to hum on night shift, taking my place. I beat on the glass of the Polaroid, inside it, screaming silently as the walls of 6E closed in. The others watched me. Dozens of them, all faces I'd seen before. Tenants, security guards, landlords, every one of them still. Every one of them trapped. All of us part of Tower 6 now. Falling action, I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. Not really. Just flashes, pounding down the stairwell, that smell of rust and rot chasing me, the sensation of walls pulsing like they were breathing, and behind it all, the soft, deliberate click of that damn Polaroid camera, like it was taking its time, framing the shot, choosing which version of me to keep. I woke up outside, sprawled in the dewy grass behind the building, hands cut, shirt torn, mouth dry as ash. The sun was coming up, and Tower 6 stood silent, windows like blank eyes, staring. By noon, the police were there, yellow tape, structural inspectors, city guys in clipboards and hard hats. They said the 6th floor had collapsed, rotten beams, unsafe foundations, condemned the whole place. The landlord disappeared that week. Some said he moved to Florida. Others said he was found hanging in the boiler room. No one ever confirmed either story. Carl never came back to work. Some rookie security guy told me he got transferred to a psych facility downstate. When I told him what I'd seen, he just stared, then said, "You saw him too, huh?" and walked away. I quit that day, left town, burned every uniform I had and told myself I'd been lucky, told myself it was over, that I'd gotten out. Until last week, I was staying in a motel off Route 2, middle of nowhere. Flipped on the TV, local news. They were talking about a fire, some old building caught in flames, burned from the inside. And there, for just a second, they flashed a photo of the place. Concrete, brutalist, Tower 6. Except now, it had 7 floors, and behind one of the top windows, a figure, just a silhouette. But I knew that shape. I know my own shoulders. I know my own face. He was holding something up. Even through the screen, I could feel it. Click, a Polaroid, still developing. Got a letter in the mail. No return address, no stamp, just sitting in my mailbox like it had always been there. Inside, a single Polaroid. It's me, sitting right here at this desk, writing this story. But behind me, blurry in the hallway mirror, a man in my clothes, standing just out of focus, smiling. I drop the photo, check the mirror. No one. Not yet, but the air feels wrong now, heavy, like the building's breathing through the walls again. I haven't slept since I got the letter. Every time I close my eyes, I'm back in 6E. The room with no ceiling, the mirror that doesn't show you, only who's coming next. And always in the distance, click, like someone's still documenting me. Framing my life in little white borders, I tried burning the photo, wouldn't catch. Tried tearing it, the paper screamed. Not metaphorically, it screamed. So now I keep it locked in the drawer, wrapped in a towel, buried under things that used to mean something. A high school ring, an old watch, a letter from my sister. But I still hear it, that click. Some nights it's outside. Other nights, it's behind me. You ever wonder if you're still you? Or if someone else already took your place? Some echo that walked out of Tower 6 wearing your skin, while the real you stares helplessly through a lens, waiting for someone, anyone, to take your picture next. I think I know why Tower 6 grew another floor. I think it grows every time someone disappears, every time someone's replaced. And if that letter found me, maybe it's looking for you now. If you get a Polaroid in the mail, don't open it. Don't look at it. And whatever you do, don't smile. If this story gave you chills or made you look twice over your shoulder, go ahead and like the video to help this channel grow. It really helps push it into the algorithm and keeps these stories coming. Hit subscribe for new eerie tales every single day. And don't forget to share this video with someone who's been acting a little off lately. Thanks for listening and watching. There's another video recommended on your screen right now. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Same time, same shadow. The burn line. You ever hear about those phone lines they used to have? Like before everything was apps and algorithms? One of them was called the burn line. People could call in and, well, vent, scream, confess, Anonymous, or so they said. I didn't believe in that kind of thing. I'm just a regular guy, Mike Kavanaugh, 38, divorced, worked nights at the paper mill outside of Danvers, Maine. You know, the kind of town where everything closes at 9 and secrets never die. They just settle like dust on your porch. I wasn't looking for trouble. Hell, I wasn't even curious. But one night I saw the flyer, taped to a flickering streetlight outside the gas station. Black paper, white text, real old school. It just said, need to get it off your chest? Call the burn line. No names, no cops, no judgment, just flames. I don't know why I called. Maybe it was the whiskey. Maybe it was the way the wind died right when I looked at it. But I picked up my phone and I dialed. There was a click, then static, then a voice, low, patient, like someone who's heard it all before and knows you're going to say something that changes everything. Go ahead, the voice said. Let it burn. I should have hung up, but I didn't. And that's when things started to twist. Not all at once, just little things. The cat stopped coming to the porch. My coffee had this burnt smell, even when it was fresh. And my phone, it kept ringing at 3:33 a.m. every night. Same number, no caller ID, just silence on the other end like someone breathing, listening. I told myself it was nothing, but you know better, don't you? Nothing's ever just nothing in Danvers, not when you've called the burn line. At first, it was what you'd expect. Static, a click, then a voice. Neutral, human, but off. Welcome to the burn line, you may begin. So I talked about the job, my ex, my kid I barely see. Dumb stuff, really. Nothing worth remembering. But the next day, things started happening. I came into work and found my boss, Carl Dobbins, the guy who's been riding me for years. He was in his office, dead, burned, blackened, like someone lit a match in his lungs. Fire marshal said it was faulty wiring. Said they found him slumped over his desk with his coffee cup fused to his hand. But I remembered what I said on the burn line the night before. I talked about Carl. I said I wished he'd just go up and smoke. I said it with a laugh, like you do when you've had one too many and the night feels mean. And then it happened. Now listen, I didn't mean it, but it happened. Exactly like I said. I told myself it was a coincidence. Once is chance, twice is a pattern. 3 nights later, I called again, just to test it. My voice shook. I almost hung up, but I didn't. I said the name of a guy who used to bully me back in high school, Jimmy Teller. He used to dunk my head in the toilets and tell me I smelled like rust. I said, let him burn too. Then I hung up. 2 days later, house fire. Electrical fault again, they said. Jimmy didn't make it. Neither did his dog. I threw up when I read it in the paper. I stopped calling, swore I was done. But the burn line doesn't let you go that easy. The phone started ringing again. Same number, blocked. Every night at 3:33 a.m. I didn't answer. I unplugged the damn thing. Threw it in a drawer. It rang anyway. Then one morning, I found a message carved into the ice on my windshield. You still have more to burn. I don't remember screaming, but my neighbor said she heard me, said it didn't sound human. I started seeing things in reflections, in the corners of rooms that should have been empty. The burn line had done something, and it wasn't finished with me. One night, 2:13 a.m., the phone rings. Same block number. My heart was already hammering before I touched the screen. I answered, voice cracked and half asleep. Hello? That voice, that goddamn voice, flat, hollow, like it's echoing up from the bottom of a well. Mike, it's your turn now. What would you like to confess? I hang up, but it doesn't matter. Next night, same time, same ring. Only this time, I hear my own voice bleeding through beneath the operators. Not just my voice, my confessions. Word for word, stuff I didn't remember saying, stuff I know I never said out loud. He always looked at my kid like that. She lied in court, took everything. If I could make them all burn. Memories flooded back like a burst dam, not just the ones I spoke into the phone, but the ones I buried. Thoughts I'd shoved down so deep they had roots in my spine. And then the burning started again. Not people I mentioned, people I thought about. My ex-wife's dog, my neighbor's kid, just 8 years old, gone in a trailer fire. I never said their names aloud, but I remembered them. Flashes of hate, flickers of anger, and somehow the burn line knew. It wasn't a phone line anymore. It was inside me, listening, whispering, feeding. I tore my place apart looking for bugs, cameras, nothing. I broke the SIM card, burned the phone, still it called. And I realized every confession I made, every whispered name or half-drunken curse, It hadn't just gone into the void. It had taken something from me, a little each time, a chunk of my soul like scraping marrow from bone. And now, there's less of me left than I thought. I don't sleep anymore. When I look in the mirror, sometimes it blinks back wrong, like something's trying to remember how to be me. And when I hear myself laugh, I swear it's not my laugh. I think I burned too much. I think I'm the next one to go. And this time, there won't be a body. I tried everything, every desperate, stupid human instinct to escape something far bigger than wires and circuits. I smashed my phone until the screen turned to glittering dust. I burned the pieces in the fire pit behind my building. I buried the SIM card 6 feet deep under frozen earth, my breath fogging like smoke from a chimney. Didn't matter. The calls kept coming. First on my landline, ringing even though it wasn't connected to anything but the wall. Then on the radio, cutting through static during a weather alert like a blade skating across glass. And one night, the microwave flashed 12, 12, 12, and from inside its humming coils came a whisper, "Confess, Mike." I fell backward, hit the kitchen floor hard. For a second, I couldn't breathe. I ran to the police the next morning, wild-eyed and shaking. The desk sergeant looked at me like I was a stray dog they didn't know how to put down humanely. They said I needed rest, maybe a counselor, maybe some time away from work, maybe what I needed was to stop drinking. I almost believed them. God help me. I wanted to believe them. Because the alternative, that the burn line was real, that it wasn't a hotline but some ancient hunger, that every confession I made fed it like kindling to a furnace, that was worse than madness. I could live with madness. I couldn't live with this. But the final straw, the thing that ripped me out of denial like a fishhook through skin, my boy, Ethan. 7 years old, with big brown eyes that always saw more than he said. He was with me for the weekend, sitting at the kitchen counter eating cereal when he looked up at me and said, "Dad, why's the toaster talking?" My blood turned to ice. Later that night, after I tucked him in, the house went dead quiet. No hum of appliances, no creaks in the walls, just a breathless stillness. My phone, my new one, the one I bought 3 towns over, lit up on the dresser. Blocked number. I answered it because of course I did. Some part of me always answers. And I heard Ethan's voice. Not speaking, whispering, repeating things he couldn't know, couldn't understand. My sins, my thoughts, the dark corners of me that I prayed he'd never inherit. That's when I knew. I had to end this. But the burn line doesn't end with a hang-up. It ends with a sacrifice. And I was running out of things left to give. And time was running out too. So now I'm here, room 9 at the Ash Pines Motel, out past Highway 12 where the trees grow too close together and the night air smells like rust and regret. 1 bar of signal. The walls are thin. The wallpaper's peeling. There's mold in the corners, shaped like faces that almost look familiar. But it's quiet here. Or it was. I've doused the place in gasoline. Closet to curtains, mattress to mirror. There's a matchbox from the gas station where I first saw the flyer. I lit one just now. Let it burn down to my fingertips before I dropped it in the sink. Because I figured, if it's called the burn line, maybe the only way to end it is to burn it all down. But before I strike the last one, before the smoke climbs and the walls melt like wax around me, I had to leave this message because someone out there might be like me, alone, angry, desperate, thinking about calling a number you weren't meant to find. Don't. The burn line isn't a phone line. It's not a hotline. It's a ritual. A deal you don't remember making until it's too late to back out. I used to think I was venting. I thought it was therapy with no consequences. But every word I spoke was a spark. And sparks spread, don't they? They find the dry places in your life. The places where the pain's packed tight, and they ignite. My confessions weren't just recorded, they were collected. And now the burn line doesn't want my voice. It wants me. And if I can't shut it down, at least I can deny it the next soul. So if you're hearing this, don't go looking for the number. Don't search the dark corners of the internet. And for the love of God, don't call it back. Because some lines, once you cross them, they never let you go. Thanks for listening, friend. If that story lit a fire under your skin, hit that like button. It helps the channel grow and reach more people who love a good scare. Subscribe for daily dark tales and share this video with someone who thinks they're brave enough to handle the truth. There's another story waiting for you on screen right now. Click it, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Lookout Shadow. You ever walk into a place and feel like something's watching you? Not someone, something. Like the walls themselves are holding their breath. That's how it felt the first time I stepped into the fire lookout tower. Name's Ben. I'm nobody special, just a small town guy with too many student loans and not enough job prospects. So when I got offered a summer gig watching for forest fires up in the Black Pines, $50 an hour, all alone in a 100-foot tower, I said hell yes. Easy money, right? The town, Windmere, is one of those places you forget even exists, tucked between two forgotten highways and miles of pines. Population, maybe 600, give or take a missing person. The lookout tower sits right on the edge of what they call Shadow Ridge. They say the sun sets earlier there, like the forest swallows the light. Locals don't go near it after dark, and I should have asked why. The station was old, built in the 50s, maybe earlier. Smelled like mildew and ash. The wooden steps groaned under my boots like they were whispering secrets. First night, I thought the place was just settling. You know how old places are. But that creak didn't stop. It paced. I'd look out into the trees with my binoculars and swear I saw shapes between the pines. Not animals, not deer or bear. Tall, still, waiting. And sometimes when the wind died down, I'd hear it. A knock. 3 slow raps on the base of the tower. No one ever there when I looked, just trees, darkness, and silence so loud it rang in my teeth. But I stayed, because money talks, and because some part of me, a dumb, curious part, wanted to know what was waiting in the woods. I didn't know it yet, but something out there was watching, and it remembered me. I stopped sleeping. Couldn't, wouldn't, because every time I closed my eyes, I heard it breathing. Not in the room, not in the tower, but beneath it. Like it was standing at the base, staring up through the floorboards. The journal became my Bible. Carter had written more than just ramblings. He'd drawn it, crude sketches, but enough to freeze the blood. Long limbs, blank face, no eyes, but it still sees you. He called it the echo. Said it repeats your movements when you're not looking. Said it climbs. Said the last thing you ever hear is your own voice. I tried to radio for help, static, then my voice. Clear as day, Ben. Look behind you. I spun so fast I nearly broke my neck. Nothing. Just that suffocating dark pressing in through the windows. I checked the tower's hatch, bolted it, secured every latch, slept with the axe by my side. Day 9, the sun didn't rise, not fully. Like something had swallowed the sky. The forest turned black by noon. I used the spotlight, scanned the trees, and there, again, a shape. Not running, not hiding, just waiting. Then I saw movement on the catwalk outside. I ran out, heart punching my ribs. No one. But the door was open. I never leave it open. Then I heard footsteps inside, heavy, slow, deliberate. I was locked out, and something was in the tower. My tower. I backed away, breath fogging, adrenaline roaring in my ears. Then the light flipped on, and in the window, me. But I was still outside. It raised a hand and smiled. That was the moment I knew. It didn't just watch, it studied, it learned, and now it was pretending to be me. I jumped, didn't think, didn't breathe, just let go, hit the ground hard, rolled. Something snapped in my wrist, maybe my ribs, didn't matter. Pain meant I was still me. The trees bent like they were bowing to it. Branches cracked, leaves flew sideways. And above in the tower, the thing wearing my face stepped onto the catwalk. It moved wrong, like gravity had rules it didn't care about. 1 foot forward, then a flicker. Suddenly it was 2 steps ahead. Twitching, stretching, grinning. I ran, limping, bleeding, no trail, no light, just pure blind panic. The woods weren't woods anymore. They were a mouth, and I was already down its throat, and it was inside me. Not just chasing, mimicking thoughts, memories, voices. Ben, it said, right behind me. Remember the lake, your 6th birthday? She made you that cake, blue frosting, sprinkles shaped like stars. I stopped. Cold. How did it know that? I turned, panting, eyes wild, and it was there. My mother's silhouette, standing in the clearing, arms wide, her face calm, familiar, safe. I wanted to believe it. God, I needed to. Then she opened her mouth, and static poured out. A scream with no sound, just raw frequency, like it wanted to rewrite me. I covered my ears, fell to my knees. That's when I saw it. The journal, clutched in my coat, soaked in rain. Carter's final page. It becomes you unless you burn it. It wasn't just a watcher. It was a mirror. and it needed me to exist. So I did the only thing left. I ran back to the tower. Every step uphill was like dragging my soul through tar. The thing followed, not sprinting, just stalking, confident, like it already owned me. I reached the tower, pried open the hatch, climbed up, bones screaming, poured kerosene across the floor, lit the match. It appeared at the base, still wearing my face, still smiling. I dropped the flame. The tower lit like a funeral pyre. And the last thing I saw, through the smoke and flames, was me standing below, burning, but still smiling. I drove straight through the night. Didn't stop for gas until the tank screamed empty in a town 2 hours south. I stumbled inside a diner, face crusted with ash, wrists swollen, skin still smelling like smoke. The waitress looked at me like I was a ghost. Maybe I was. I ordered coffee, never drank it. Just sat there, staring at my reflection in the dark window, waiting for it to move on its own. It never did, but I still watched, just in case. Back in Windermere, they called the forest fire a lightning strike. Said the tower was old, flammable. No one asked questions, no one went looking. The fire burned out fast, like the forest let it die, like it had already taken what it wanted. I tried to talk to someone, a ranger, a cop, hell, even the mailman. But every time I opened my mouth, the words dissolved. Because how do you explain something like that? How do you tell people that your shadow once smiled back at you? I stayed in a motel for a week, drank, puked, slept, drank again. Every night I dreamed I was still in the tower, waking up to me looking down at me from the ceiling. The worst part wasn't the dreams, it was the silence. Because that voice on the radio, it stopped, and that was almost worse than hearing it. Until night 7. I turned on the radio out of habit, just static, then a pause, then a voice. My voice, you shouldn't have burned it. I yanked the plug, threw the whole thing into the motel pool, but it was too late because something followed me back. Not in the woods, not in the trees, in me. When I pass mirrors now, I don't always trust what I see. Sometimes my reflection lags, smiles too late, moves too slow, and last night, it didn't move at all. I moved to the city. Concrete, streetlights, noise, no trees tall enough to whisper, no shadows deep enough to hide. Still, I sleep with the lights on. I see a therapist twice a week. I tell her half the truth. She nods, writes things down, tells me I have survivor's guilt, dissociation, stress-induced hallucinations. Maybe. But none of that explains why the mirror in my hallway fogs up when I walk by, even when the air's cold. Or why I wake up standing at the window at 3:17 a.m. Always 3:17. Always whispering something I can't remember by morning. I haven't heard my own voice in weeks. Not really. It echoes back wrong, like it's being filtered through someone else. I tried smashing the mirrors, all of them. But that's the thing no one tells you. You don't need a mirror to cast a reflection. Sometimes a puddle is enough. Sometimes the darkened screen of a turned off TV. Sometimes just a shadow in the corner that doesn't quite belong. I went back once, not to the tower, to Windermere. It's gone, burned down to cinders. Not just the lookout, the town. They say it was a wildfire, but there was no storm, no wind, no lightning, just silence, like the whole place held its breath and never let it out. I asked the ranger station for old reports. They looked at me funny. There's no record of an A. Carter, no journal, no tower. But I remember it, every creak, every knock, every breath I took that wasn't entirely mine. So now I live by rules. Never walk alone at night. Never answer a voice that sounds familiar if you're not sure where it's coming from. And never, ever look too long into your own eyes. Because if something's looking back, it might not be you. And if you see it smile, it's already inside. If this story kept you on edge, helped you escape, or maybe made you glance over your shoulder just once, go ahead and like the video to support the channel's growth. It really helps boost visibility. Make sure you subscribe for more daily stories, new chills, new voices, every single night. And hey, share this with someone who loves getting lost in the dark, or maybe someone you just want to scare. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. There's another story waiting for you right now on your screen, and I'll see you again tomorrow.